Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another videos of the paid request. This time for Douglas. Thank you so much for that. I apologize for the lateness of it. Just been very hectic couple weeks. But thank you, man. I really appreciate it. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, I'll get to it as soon as I can. If you want to send it either directly to my PayPal, usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the 2010 film The Losers, which I saw this back in the day and I always enjoyed it. Watch it again, still thought it was a lot of fun. Mostly because of the cast. You got Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who got more famous playing Negan on The Walking Dead. He was in Watchmen. Do like him as an actor. Pretty solid. I liked him also in a film called Heist with Robert De Niro and Dave Bautista and a few other people in it. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I thought, did a nice job starring in that role, in that movie. You also have Idris Elba, who was later, he's done a lot of stuff. Idris Elba, another good actor. Chris Evans, who will later be Captain America. Zoe Saldaña, who would also be part of Marvel. Guardians of the Galaxy. You have Columbus Short. You have Jason Patric as your villain. And I guess it's based on a comic book. I've never read the comic book, so how this is different or the same, I don't know. But pretty much around the same year, you also had the Expendables and you had the A-Team. I would put the Expendables #1, this #2, and the A-Team can piss off. I'm like, this is like a much better version of the A-Team movie that came out. Because I thought the casting worked better. I thought the action scenes were better directed. The A-Team was a lot more shaky cam. Felt a lot more CGI. And I thought the villain was really lame. Here, one issue I will say, I wish it was not PG-13. I wish they had gone R-rated. Did you tell a few things are hampered because of the PG-13? And like I said, I wish they would just gone the R-rated route. Action scenes could have had a bit more impact or intensity or choreography. But it's a quick fun time, 90-some minutes long, with a likable cast, entertaining villain like Jason Patric. I'll get to a couple of fun things he does here. And it's a nice setup for what could have been a fun franchise, but sadly, this film came out and it bombed. It bombed badly, and it does set itself up for a sequel, but sadly, that wasn't the case. And it's a movie that's pretty forgotten. No one really talked about it, but it's an entertaining time. The setup is pretty simple. You have this team called the Losers. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Idris Elba, Chris Evans, Columbus Short. There's another guy, and I forget his name. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's the leader. Idris Elba, listen to the tactics. Columbus Short, like one guy's a sniper. Chris Evans, he's the wise ass type of guy. Anyway, they're in Bolivia. Supposed to deal with this drug and arms dealer. They're supposed to paint the place so that there's an airstrike. They find that there's kids there. They say, hold up, wait a minute, there's kids in there. They're told to piss off. We're going to do it anyway. So they get into a vehicle, they bust in, they shoot a bunch of bad guys. Again, hampered by the fast PG-13, but I still thought it was a pretty fast-paced scene. I thought the actors, for the most part, worked very well together. And they're able to get the kids out. There's an airstrike. They get the kids into the chopper. And this does give merit to the bad guys where you really want to see them pay. Helicopter goes up, missile comes. I do like the way the director had it be one shot where they look up and they see this missile and they're running and you see the missile go and hit the helicopter. And I like that there's some practical effects mixed in with CG. It wasn't just 100% CG, 100% like a cartoon. Chopper explodes, lands down. And so, of course, they know someone's got to pay. They throw their dog tags in, and they're framed for a crime they didn't commit. In this case, they're trying to make people believe they're dead. They can't go back home. They want their life back. So if you have a problem, you could call the A-Team. Oh, I'm sorry, the losers. That's what I mean. Like, this is kind of what I wanted from the A-Team movie. Like, the A-Team movie was this prequel that no one needed to set up the A-Team movie that people would have preferred to see. In this case, at least, like I said, at least the cast works well together. Whether it be Jeffrey D. Morgan is a cool, collected leader. Chris Evans, entertaining as, again, the wisecracker guy. At some points, he wears his pink shirt because his niece is part of his soccer team. Idris Elba and Jeffrey have this animosity towards each other, but they're still working together. Columbus Short makes up these weapons, so he makes this missile. Oh, I'm the Black MacGyver. I'm MacGyver. Zoe Saldaña, she comes to the picture because she comes in and first has a fight with Jeffrey D. Morgan, which is some decent choreography. I like the idea that the place gets more and more on fire. Some nice shots where you see them and you see fire all around them. And the fire, for the most part, looked practical. I'm sure maybe there was a bit where you shoot them in one place and you have a real place on fire. Yeah, I don't know how exactly they did, but it didn't look too bad. Didn't look too shabby. And Zoe Saldaña says, I have a idea for you guys to come on back, and this guy you want named Max, played by Jason Patric, I know a way you can find him. You help me out. I'll tell you later what I have to do with this. I'll pay for the mission, so to speak. They don't really have much choices, so they go along with it. Now, Jason Patric, the reason I said he was an entertaining villain is because he's a huge dick. For example, like the first time we see him, they're high on the roof of this building, and actually his subordinate is Holt McElhaney. I always get his name wrong. I've seen him in a couple other stuff. He's a pretty good character actor. And Patrick gives this nod, and the guy throws this guy off. And then Patrick's like, what are you doing? What? You gave me a nod. Yeah, hit him in the face nod, not a throw him off the roof nod. Well, I thought this was no, I didn't say that. I said you hit him. I can't believe you did that. Wait a minute, though. It looks like you definitely got these guys' attention. Or there's a bit where later on, this lady's tearing an umbrella to keep shade on him. And this girl kind of trips, and the umbrella slips for a bit, but she gets right back on. And then Jason Patric has his face on him, this look. Gets the gun and then shoots her. Now again, it's PG-13. I think if we had a wider shot where you see she like flies back and then gives the gun back to him, I think that would have made the scene more effective. Instead it's more, he's here, imagine the girl's here. Okay, no, imagine she's here and he's like, pfft. So it's still a funny scene, but the fact you don't see her loses a little bit of impact. So again, that's my big complaint, is that it being PG-13. I mean, it didn't do well anyway when it's rated R. It was PG-13, it didn't do well anyway, so it might have been rated R, and I think that would have helped the movie a bit. But as I said, it goes at a fast pace. It's only 90 minutes long. They set up these funny bit of scenes where like they pretend to be knocked out so soldiers could come in, and Chris Evans is like, wow, you're a hot, EMT. What's your name? But then they knock him out in order to steal the chopper. And someone goes, "Really? What's your name?" That's what you want to say? No, like I said, it's not wall-to-wall action, as in it's not going to be a ton of firefights. It's not going to be a ton of fight sequences. Like I said, there's a little bit at the beginning. There's a little bit of Jeffrey D. Morgan fighting Zoe Saldaña. There's the bit where they use the chopper and some explosive to put a magnet on the chopper and grab this vehicle that they think Jason Patrick's in and fly off. There's an entertaining bit where Chris Evans, they got this drive. He's got to go into the headquarters to download in order to see more what's on the drive. And he keeps saying, "Don't stop believing. Don't stop believing." And then when he escapes, the music starts to play, which was a nice touch. Now, I'm sure there are movies that did this before, but this was the first time I had seen the finger pointing gun thing where you put the guns up, it'll. Now, actually, no. That's a lie. That's a lie. The more I think about it, I think Crank did that before. Yeah. So I tell a lie. I just remember Crank with Jason Statham, I think, did that. And there might have been films before that that did it, but Expendables 2 did that, so it's a common, it's a thing that's happened before, but it's still a fun bit of business. I think Chris Evans plays it fairly well. And there's some stylish shots when he does the OK symbol, and then the camera zooms through his hand, zooms all the way across to the building across the street, and the sniper guy's like, "I got you." So there's some cool, nice, stylish shots. In the third act, when they have to fight the bad guys, there's a bit with Zoe Saldaña has this big missile, and you see in slow-mo the missile goes and hits his target. Especially this shot with an airplane and this poor guy on a motorcycle. That's definitely, I think, the best shot in the movie. So again, there's some nice, fun, stylish moments that while it's not wall-to-wall action, at least the stuff that's there is fairly memorable, at least to me. And like I said, it's not really boring. It goes by so quickly that you're just entertained. Oh man, it's over already. That type of feeling. Like I said, Jason Patrick is a smarmy, I don't know, cocky is the word, but smarmy dickhead villain. Definitely one of the better. I mean, Jason Patrick was from the Lost Boys, and definitely one of his better roles. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Idris Elba eventually turns on the team. The team gets caught, and thanks to Zoe Saldana, they're able to escape. Now, I do wish the action was a bit more epic in the finale. Like, you compare it to the Expendables, and the Expendables wins hands down. Do you look at the finale of that? You got Stallone versus Steve Austin, then Steve Austin versus Randy Couture. You got Jet Li and Jason Statham versus Gary Daniels. You got Terry Crews with the automatic machine gun. You got Stallone with the 2 pistols here and 2 pistols there, and people get shot in the head. And yes, sometimes there's a lot of CGI, to be fair, but there's a couple, practical explosions. I think there might be some, well, I can't remember blood-wise. But I don't like CGI blood, but at least there's a little bit more impact than just nothing there. The helicopter where Terry Crews throws it and then Stallone shoots it. It just felt more of an impactful ending and finale. Here, it just kind of, okay, one's been shot in the leg, so he shoots a couple people. Chris Evans is helping him, and he shoots a couple people. But there's not a whole lot of choreography. There's not a big body count compared to a lot of action movies. of this kind of caliber, even if you looked at, say, any of the John Wick films, you look at The Beekeeper, the finale of that, I wish this felt like a bit more explosive, bigger finale where they can really kick ass, take names, and show what kind of a team they are, where they have like this big army they go up against. It doesn't really feel that way. It feels more smaller than I wish it was. But I do like that Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Idris Elba has a bit of a fight. Granted, it's a bit too shaky. Like, he's trying a variety of angles. Whether it's to show that, hey, I mean, these two guys aren't martial artists, so we gotta hide it a bit. But I do like some of the slow-mo shots. Like Jeffrey gets Idris's arm and puts it down to break it. And the one shot I mentioned where Jeffrey Dean Morgan gets beat up, but he gets up and he has the plane coming towards him. And he waits for it. Because there's another guy coming on a motorcycle. And he looks up at his buddy, the sniper, and goes, take the shot. So the sniper hits the motorcycle, the guy flies off, and this great shot where he flies right into the engine of the plane. And then the guy's motorcycle flies up and goes towards the plane and blows it up. I thought that was a cool looking shot. Flipping off the motorcycle, going into the engine. I thought that was pretty cool. But again, it would have been even better if it was rated R. But, I mean, I've said that multiple times now. But again, I like the sense of humor when Jeffrey Dean Morgan confronts Jason Patrick, and Patrick has this bomb, and if I let go of the trigger, you're not going to shoot me. And then immediately gets shot. Ow! Damn it, why'd you do that? Ow! He throws it. Jeffrey Dean Morgan grabs it, goes to the water. Give me some duct tape. Disarmed. Like I said, it does leave room for a sequel, which is Jason Patrick does escape. Granted, I like the last scene where he's kind of bit bloodied up. He's wounded. He's on a bus. Two people sit by him. And then he's like... he just lets him take his watch. Even the ending where they are back in the States, but they're kind of undercover. So, like, one guy gets to see his wife give birth to their kid. Another guy, Chris Evans, they get to see his niece's soccer game, and he starts arguing with the referee. And the other's like trying to, oh, yo. I'm being spoily, but also being somewhat vague with the dialogue for those who do want to see it. I do like it. It ends with "Don't stop believing." Hey, it's a good song to end it on. It's a fun romp. It's an entertaining, fun romp. Is it up there with my favorite action films ever? No. Will this be in one of my favorite films of 2010? Yeah. It's not a classic. It's not perfect. Like, I mean, to repeat myself one last time, like I said, I do wish it was rated R. I think that would have helped a lot. I do wish that the action finale had a bit more of an extra spark in terms of explosiveness, in terms of a bigger sequence of events. The fact that Jason Patrick gets away and then there's no sequel. So that's a thread left dangling. I need you to tell this was supposed to be start of a franchise. It obviously didn't become that. Didn't realize that Peter Berg had a hand in writing the film. I guess at one point there was talks of him directing, but then he did other films like Hancock and other stuff. It would have been nice if Peter Berg directed this, because I look at the rundown, and I see what he did with the rundown, especially the finale of the rundown. And maybe he could have added an extra spark that was needed. Like I said, the reason I enjoy this is not just because it has some pretty cool shots during the bits of action in it. It's the cast. I think they had the right cast that played off each other fairly well, had an entertaining sense of humor, from Jason Patrick's villainy to all the other stuff, and it's a 90-minute romp with no politics or any of that BS. It was just a fun, easy time. It may not be the most memorable movie, but if you watch the trailer, if you watch clips of the film, you get a sense of, how fun it is. And I said, the director does have some nice shots of slow-mo, some decent style in there. Well, even the bit with they find out Zoe Saldaña may not be telling the truth. They shoot at her, so she goes to the bathroom in the slow-mo where she's diving away from the bullets and trying to get into the tub, and the way the camera's placed, and again the use of slow motion. I like some of the style the director brought to the film. I would not be surprised if the comic was more violent. I think them toning it down was a mistake. Because not just violence, but also like language and other stuff, they could have been more freedom to what they could have done. But for PG-13 action films, it's a fun movie. It's an entertaining time. So, like I said, the cast is what makes the film work the most for me. And it's not boring. It goes by a fairly quick pace, which is good in this age where every film's like 2.5, 3 hours. Oh, this is 90 minutes. Boom, in, out. There you go. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.